They say love makes you blind. But guilt? Guilt makes you stupid. For 3 years, I watched my brother care for our dying mother and called him a hero. I sent money. I visited when I could. I trusted him completely. And while I was patting myself on the back for being a good son from a distance, he was dripping poison into her final days. The worst part? I didn't see it. I didn't want to see it, because seeing it would mean admitting I'd failed her too. This is the story of how blind trust destroyed my family, and how I learned that sometimes the people we love most are the ones hiding the darkest secrets. Welcome to my Reddit diaries, where every story reveals the unseen battles within families. Don't forget to subscribe, and tell me in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? The rain fell soft and steady the day we buried her. Not the dramatic downpour you see in movies, just that persistent drizzle that soaks through your coat and chills you to the bone. I stood on one side of the grave, black umbrella trembling in my hand. Marcus stood on the other side. No umbrella. Just standing there in his dark suit, water running down his face, mixing with what might have been tears. Everyone else had left. The pastor. The distant cousins. The neighbors who barely knew her. It was just us now. 2 brothers and a hole in the ground. I should have felt grateful. Marcus had given up 3 years of his life to care for Mom. 3 years of changing bedpans and crushing pills and watching the strongest woman we'd ever known waste away to nothing. While I was living my comfortable life 3 states away, climbing the corporate ladder, tucking my kids into bed every night, Marcus was there. In the trenches. Doing the hard work. So why did I feel this gnawing doubt in my chest? Marcus looked up at me across Mom's casket. His eyes were hollow, empty. Like he'd used up every emotion he had and there was nothing left. He opened his mouth like he wanted to say something, then closed it. Nodded once. Turned and walked away. I watched him go, rain drumming against my umbrella, and thought about how everything had started 5 years earlier. Mom called on a Tuesday. I remember because Tuesdays were my late days at the office, and I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Her voice was shaking. Not crying, not yet, just shaking. Stage 4. Pancreatic cancer. 2 to 3 years if she was lucky. The doctor had used words like aggressive and limited options and palliative care. I drove through the night to get home. 12 hours straight, gas station coffee and growing dread. By the time I arrived at the hospital, the whole family was there. Rebecca, my younger sister, crying into her husband's shoulder. Aunt Linda pacing the hallway. Uncle Frank sitting with his head in his hands. And Marcus, standing outside Mom's room, staring at the floor. We gathered in the consultation room. Those awful plastic chairs and fluorescent lights that make everyone look half dead. The doctor explained the treatment options. Chemo might buy time, but the quality of life would be poor. Hospice was mentioned. Plans needed to be made. Then came the conversation no one wants to have. Who would take care of her? I spoke first, hating myself even as the words came out. My job. The kids. Sarah had just started kindergarten, and Tommy was barely 2. My wife was already overwhelmed. Moving wasn't an option. Not really. Rebecca had 3 kids under 10 and a husband who traveled for work. She started crying again just thinking about it. That's when Marcus cleared his throat. I can still see him, sitting forward in that plastic chair, his hands clasped between his knees. I'll do it, he said. His voice was quiet but firm. I'll move in with her. Handle everything. We all stared at him. Marcus had always been the lone wolf of the family. Never married. Lived alone. Worked some kind of tech job he could do remotely. We barely heard from him except at holidays. You sure? I asked. Relief was already flooding through me, and I felt sick about how relieved I was. He nodded. I'm the only one who can. You all have families, responsibilities. I don't. It makes sense. Mom tried to protest when we told her, but Marcus wouldn't hear it. He moved in the following week. I helped him pack up his apartment, haul his stuff to Mom's house. He set up his office in the guest room. Organized all her medications in a tackle box with little compartments. Made a spreadsheet of doctor's appointments. I remember thinking this is going to be okay. Marcus has got this. The first year was almost peaceful. I visit once a month, usually for a long weekend. Every time I arrived, Marcus had dinner ready. The house was clean. Mom was comfortable, propped up on the couch with her blankets, smiling when she saw me. Marcus had this whole routine down. Pills at 8, noon, 4 and bedtime. Meals at specific times, all soft foods by month 6. He drove her to every chemo appointment, waded through every treatment, brought her home and settled her in her favorite chair. The family group chat was full of Marcus's updates. Photos of Mom on her good days, sitting in the garden. Videos of her laughing at something on TV. His messages were detailed and reassuring. Mom had a good appetite today. I ate almost a full bowl of soup. Rough night, but she's resting now. Don't worry. Doctor says numbers are holding steady. Small victory. I send money every month. $500 to help with expenses, medical supplies, whatever they needed. Marcus always said it was enough. Never asked for more. On the phone, Mom sounded tired but content. "Your brother is taking such good care of me," she'd say. Her voice is soft and grateful. "I don't know what I'd do without him." And I'd feel that flood of relief again, followed immediately by guilt. Because I knew the truth. I was glad someone else was handling it. I was glad I didn't have to see her deteriorate day by day. I was glad I could keep my comfortable life intact while someone else did the hard part. I told myself I was helping from afar. That the money mattered. That my monthly visits were enough. I was lying to myself. The second year was when things started to feel off. Small things at first. Easy to dismiss. Mom's phone calls got shorter. She'd sound distracted, distant. Sometimes I'd hear Marcus in the background, and she'd suddenly have to go. When I visited, Marcus was always there. Boys. Hovering nearby when I talked to Mom. Answering questions I'd asked her. Finishing her sentences. "How are you feeling, Mom?" She'd start to answer, and Marcus would jump in. "She's been tired this week. The new medication is adjusting." I suggested hiring a part-time nurse. Just someone to give Marcus a break, help with the heavy lifting. He shut it down immediately. "We're fine. She prefers family. Strangers make her anxious." Rebecca mentioned she tried to visit twice and Marcus had turned her away at the door. He said Mom was sleeping, but it was 2 in the afternoon. I made excuses. Marcus was protective. Maybe overly so, but his heart was in the right place. He was just trying to shield Mom from too much chaos. The medicine cabinet stayed locked now. I noticed that on my 3rd visit that year. Asked Marcus about it. She was getting confused about her doses, he explained. Safer this way. Made sense. Except Mom had always been sharp as a tack, even with the cancer. One night, near the end of year 2, I was sitting with Mom while Marcus ran to the pharmacy. She was dozing on and off, the TV playing some old sitcom she loved. Then her eyes opened, focused on me with sudden clarity. "I'm so tired," she whispered. Her hand found mine, squeezing weak. "I just want it to be over." My throat closed up. I squeezed back. "I know, Ma. I know. Promise me you'll take care of your brother," she said. "When I'm gone. He's going to need you." I promised. Of course I promised. Marcus came back 20 minutes later. Saw us holding hands. His expression shifted, something I couldn't quite read crossing his face. Then he smiled. "Who wants tea?" The moment passed. I flew home the next day. Told myself I'd visit more often. Told myself a lot of things. Year 3, Mom stopped answering her phone entirely. Every call went to Marcus now. "She's too weak to hold the phone," he explained. "But I'll tell her you called. She sends her love." My visits became tense. The house felt different. Darker somehow, even though nothing had physically changed. Marcus seemed exhausted, worn thin. Mom barely spoke anymore, just stared at the TV or out the window. I tried to talk to her alone, but Marcus always had a reason to be in the room. Her medication. Her comfort. Her needs. The last few months blurred together. Marcus's updates became sparse. "She's comfortable. That's what matters now." My attempts to visit were discouraged. "Doctor's orders," Marcus said. Her immune system was too compromised. Too risky. Then the call came. 3 in the morning, my phone buzzing on the nightstand. Marcus's voice flat and exhausted on the other end. "You should come. It's time." I made it in 10 hours. Broke every speed limit. Prayed to a God I wasn't sure I believed in anymore. Mom was unconscious when I arrived. The hospice bed had been set up in her bedroom, all the machines beeping softly. Marcus sat in the chair beside her, holding her hand. His eyes were red, face streaked with tears. I took her other hand. It was so small. When did her hands get so small? "She died that night." Peacefully, Marcus said. Just slipped away. I was holding her hand. Rebecca arrived too late, fell apart in the hallway. Marcus made all the arrangements. The funeral, the obituary, the flowers. I was too numb to help. And then came the day we sat in the lawyer's office. Wood paneling and leather chairs and the smell of old books. The lawyer, a kind-faced woman named Mrs. Patterson, opened Mom's will. Standard stuff at first. Personal items divided among the 3 of us. Then she reached the assets. The house, the savings account, the life insurance policy Mom had taken out years ago. All remaining assets have been transferred to Marcus Thompson, effective 18 months prior to Mrs. Thompson's death. The room went silent. I felt Rebecca go rigid beside me. "I'm sorry, what?" My voice sounded strange. Distant. Mrs. Patterson looked uncomfortable. "Your mother signed updated paperwork making Marcus the sole beneficiary of her estate. Everything transfers to him." I turned to Marcus. He was staring at the table, jaw clenched. "When?" I asked. "When did she sign this?" "About 6 months after the diagnosis," Mrs. Patterson said quietly. 6 months. When Marcus had just moved in. When Mom was still strong enough to fight, still had clarity, still had time. Marcus. Rebecca's voice was shaking. He finally looked up. His eyes met mine, and there was something in them I'd never seen before. Something cold. She wanted me to have it, he said. I was the one who stayed. The words hit like a physical blow. I stood up, chair scraping against the floor. We need to talk. Alone. We left Rebecca in the office. Stepped into the parking lot. The sun was too bright, the air too clean. Everything felt wrong. Explain, I said. There's nothing to explain. Mom made her decision. It's legal. It's done. I sent you money every month. Where did it go? His jaw tightened. You can leave now. This is done. Marcus, what did you do? He stepped closer. For a moment, I thought he might actually hit me. Instead, he just shook his head. Go home to your perfect life. Your perfect family. Let me handle this like I handled everything else. He walked away. Got in his car. Drove off. I stood there in that parking lot, the sun beating down, and realized something that made my blood run cold. I didn't know my brother at all. And for 3 years, he'd had complete control over our mother. What else had I missed? I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. Just lay in the guest room of Rebecca's house, staring at the ceiling, my mind spinning through 3 years of memories, looking for the cracks I'd missed. Every reassuring text message. Every photo of Mom smiling. Every time Marcus said everything was fine. Has any of it been real? At 6 in the morning, I gave up on sleep. Made coffee. Found Rebecca already at the kitchen table, her laptop open, papers spread everywhere. I've been going through Mom's bank statements, she said without looking up. Her voice was hoarse, like she'd been crying. The ones I could access online anyway. Look at this. She turned the laptop toward me. Highlighted rows on a spreadsheet. Withdrawals. Large ones. 500 here, 1,000 there, 2,000 in cash. This is just from her checking account, Rebecca said. I can't access her savings or investment accounts. But this alone, over 3 years, it's almost $40,000. Where did it go? I don't know. Cash withdrawals. No paper trail. But look at the dates. I scanned the highlighted entries. They started about 8 months after Marcus moved in. Small at first, then growing larger. More frequent. He was draining her accounts, Rebecca whispered. Slowly. Systematically. I felt sick. We need to see the rest. The savings, the investments, everything. We'll need a lawyer. Maybe the police. The word police made my stomach drop. This was my brother. We were talking about criminal charges. Elder abuse. Financial exploitation. Maybe worse. Let's talk to him first, I said. Give him a chance to explain. Rebecca looked at me like I was insane. Explain what? He stole from her. Maybe there's something we don't know. Medical expenses, something that... Stop making excuses for him. Her voice cracked. You've been doing that for 3 years. She was right. God, she was right. I drove to Mom's house that afternoon. My childhood home. The place where we'd grown up, where Mom had raised us alone after Dad died. It felt wrong now. Corrupted somehow. Marcus's car was in the driveway. Through the window, I could see him packing boxes in the living room. He didn't look surprised when I walked in. Didn't stop packing. You should have called first, he said. When did she sign everything over to you? I kept my voice level. The truth this time. I already told you. 6 months after the diagnosis. Why? He finally stopped packing. Turned to face me. Because I was the one taking care of her. Because she knew I'd need it. The house, the money, all of it. Compensation for putting my life on hold. Compensation. The word tasted bitter. She was our mother, not a client. Easy for you to say. His voice rose. You got to keep your life. Your job, your wife, your kids. I gave up everything. I sent you money every month. $500 for 3 years. That's $18,000, Marcus. Where did it go? His face went blank. Expenses. What expenses? Show me receipts. Bank statements. Anything. You want accounting? Really? You want to nickel and dime the person who actually showed up? I want to know why you were withdrawing thousands in cash from Mom's account. I want to know why you isolated her from the family. I want to know why she stopped taking my calls. Something flickered across his face. Fear maybe. Or anger. Hard to tell. You need to leave, he said quietly. This is Mom's house. No. It's my house now. Legally. And I'm asking you to leave. I stood there, hands shaking, wanting to grab him. Shake him. Make him tell me what really happened. Instead, I walked out. But I wasn't done. Not even close. I called everyone. Aunts, uncles, Mom's old friends. Asked if they'd noticed anything strange during her final years. Most said the same thing. They tried to visit. Marcus had turned them away. Always with an excuse. She's sleeping. She's not feeling well. Doctor's orders. Mrs. Chin, The neighbor who'd lived next door for 30 years invited me over for tea. Her hands shook as she poured. I should have said something earlier, she began. Her voice trembled with guilt. But I didn't want to interfere. Family business, you know. Said something about what? The arguments. I heard them through the walls. Your mother is crying. Marcus's voice raised. It happened more than once. My chest tightened. What were they arguing about? I couldn't make out most of it. But once, maybe a year ago, I heard your mother clearly. She was crying, saying she wanted to call you. I wanted to see Rebecca. Marcus said she was confused from the medication. That she didn't know what she was saying. Was she? Confused? Mrs. Chen met my eyes. I saw your mother that same afternoon. She was sitting by her window. She looked right at me and waved. Her eyes were clear. She knew exactly who I was. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. What else? People would come to visit. Friends from her book club, ladies from church. Marcus would answer the door, send them away. He'd say she wasn't up for visitors. But I'd see her watching from the window, looking so sad. Why didn't you call someone? I almost did. Several times. But what would I say? That I heard arguing? That he wasn't letting people visit? He was family. You all trusted him. I thought maybe I was the one misunderstanding. I left her house feeling like I might throw up. Getting Mom's medical records took 2 weeks and a lawyer. When they finally arrived, I sat in my hotel room with Rebecca and read through 3 years of doctor's notes. The early entries were straightforward. Treatment plans, medication adjustments, prognosis updates. But around month 18, the tone changed. Patients report inadequate pain management. Appears uncomfortable. Requesting increase in pain medication. Next visit, 2 weeks later. Caregiver declined pain medication increase. The state's patient is exaggerating symptoms. My hands started shaking. More notes. The patient requested a social worker consultation. The caretaker canceled the appointment. Patient asking about hospice care facilities. Exploring options. Caregiver strongly opposed. Insists on home care. Then, 9 months before Mom died, the patient expressed a desire to contact other family members privately. When asked if she felt safe at home, the patient became tearful. Before she could respond, the caregiver interrupted, stating the patient is often emotional due to medication. The patient did not contradict him. Rebecca was crying. I couldn't breathe. The final entry, 3 months before her death. The patient appears withdrawn. Minimal communication. Caregiver reports she sleeps most of the day. Recommended evaluation for depression. The caregiver declined. I closed the file. Sat there in silence. He was torturing her, Rebecca whispered. Wasn't he? Keeping her in pain. Keeping her isolated. Making her final months a nightmare. I don't know. Maybe he thought he was protecting her. Maybe. Stop. Rebecca's voice was sharp. Stop defending him. Read those notes again. Really read them. He controlled everything. Her pain medication. Her visitors. Her voice. He made sure she couldn't tell anyone what was happening. She was right. The evidence was right there. But I couldn't make sense of it. This was Marcus. My brother. The quiet kid who'd helped me with homework. Who'd cried at Dad's funeral. Who'd volunteered to care for our dying mother. Why would he do this? I found the answer 2 days later, accidentally. Marcus had left some boxes in the garage. I went to grab something, knocked one over. Papers spilled everywhere. Credit card statements. Collection notices. Legal threats. Gambling debts. Massive ones. I sat on the garage floor, sorting through the nightmare. Sports betting sites. Online casinos. Cash advances from credit cards at insane interest rates. The timeline made me physically ill. The debts started 6 years ago. Small at first, then snowballing. By the time Mom got diagnosed, Marcus was in the hole for over $60,000. Collection agencies were calling. Threats of legal action. Then Mom got sick. And suddenly Marcus had a solution. He moved in. Gained access to her accounts. Started pulling out cash. Paying off debts. The withdrawals matched up almost perfectly with his payment schedule to creditors. But it wasn't enough. So he convinced her to sign everything over. The house. The savings. The life insurance policy is worth $150,000. He'd seen Mom's terminal diagnosis as a business opportunity. A way out of the hole he'd dug for himself. And to maximize his payout, he needed her to die at home. Under his control. Where he could manage the narrative. Where no one could hear her ask for help. I confronted him one last time. Showed up at the house with the evidence. Gambling statements. Medical records. Witness testimonies. He didn't deny it. Just stood there, face blank as I laid it all out. You isolated her. You controlled her pain medication. You made her last year a living hell. All for money. I took care of her. His voice was flat. Emotionless. Every single day. I was there. You tortured her. I fed her. Changed her. Bathed her. Do you have any idea what that's like? Watching someone you love rot from the inside out? Smelling the sickness? Seeing the fear in their eyes? Then why? My voice broke. If it was so hard, why do it? Because someone had to. His eyes finally met mine, and what I saw there chilled me. You want to call me a villain? Fine. But where were you? 3 states away, playing happy family. Sending your guilt money once a month like that made up for anything. I trusted you. You abandoned her. You just paid someone else to deal with it. That someone was me. The words hit like bullets. Because part of it was true. I had abandoned her. I had taken the easy way out. I didn't isolate her, I whispered. No. You just weren't there when she was calling for you. When she was asking to see you. When she needed you. You could have told me. Could have asked for help. I did this alone because I had to. And yeah, I used her money. I used everything she had. You want to know why? He stepped closer, voice dropping to barely a whisper. Because she owed me. For staying. For sacrificing everything. For being the son who actually showed up. My hands clenched into fists. She didn't owe you anything. She was dying and you made it about yourself. I didn't kill her. Cancer did that. You made sure she died alone. In pain. Cut off from everyone who loved her. For the first time, something cracked in his expression. Just for a second. Then it was gone. Get out, he said. Take your evidence and your righteous anger and get out of my house. I left. Sat in my car in the driveway. I looked at the file folder full of proof. Thought about police stations and lawyers and trials. Thought about Mom's name dragged through legal proceedings. About the family torn apart even more than it already was. My phone rang. My daughter's voice, bright and innocent. Daddy, when are you coming home? I stared at Mom's house. At the light in the window where Marcus stood watching me. And I realized I had an impossible choice to make. Justice for my mother. Or mercy for my brother. I couldn't have both. The lawyer's office smelled like coffee and old paper. Mrs. Patterson sat across from me, reading through the evidence I'd compiled. Bank statements. Medical records. Witness testimonies. The gambling debts. She read in silence for 20 minutes. Then she looked up, her expression grave. You have a case, she said. Elder abuse. Financial exploitation. Possibly even unlawful imprisonment, given that he restricted her access to visitors and communication. The medical records alone show a pattern of neglect. What happens if we pursue this? Criminal charges. Police investigation. It became a public record. Local news will probably pick it up. Dying woman abused by son, that kind of headline. The trial could take a year, maybe more. And it will be ugly. They'll dig into everything. Your mother's final days will be examined in excruciating detail. I felt sick. And Marcus? Prison time. Likely 5 to 10 years, given the severity. Restitution of the stolen funds. Civil suits from other family members. His life as he knows it ends. I sat back in the chair. I closed my eyes. I tried to imagine it. Marcus in handcuffs. Mom's name in headlines. Our family's pain turned into entertainment for strangers. What would she want? I asked quietly. Mrs. Patterson folded her hands. I didn't know your mother. Only you can answer that. I went to Mom's grave that night. The cemetery was empty, just the sound of wind through trees and distant traffic. Her headstone was simple. Her name, her dates, and the words we'd all agreed on. Beloved mother. Her love never failed. I knelt in the grass. Felt the dampness soak through my jeans. I don't know what to do, Mom, I said out loud, feeling foolish but needing to say it anyway. Tell me what you'd want. The wind rustled the leaves. No answers came. But a memory did. Sharp and clear. I was 12. Marcus was 10. We'd gotten into a fight over something stupid, probably a video game. It had escalated. Punches thrown. A lamp broken. Mom had pulled us apart, sat us down, her eyes fierce. Brothers hurt each other, she'd said. That's what brothers do. But family doesn't give up on family. You hear me? What you do after the hurt, that's what defines you. She'd made us apologize. Made us hug. Made us promise to always find our way back to each other. I sat in the grass by her grave and cried. Because I knew what she'd want. Even after everything Marcus had done. Even after the isolation and the pain and the betrayal. She'd want me to find a way forward that didn't destroy what was left of her family. I called a family meeting. Rebecca, Aunt Linda, Uncle Frank, the cousins. Everyone who'd been at the funeral. We met at Rebecca's house, sitting around her dining room table like we were planning a funeral all over again. I laid out the evidence. Watched their faces as they absorbed it. The anger. The shock. The calls for justice. We should go to the police, Aunt Linda said immediately. He belongs in prison. Let him rot, Uncle Frank agreed. What he did, that's unforgivable. Rebecca said nothing, just watched me with red eyes. I know what he did, I said quietly. I know what he deserves. But I also know what this will cost. Mom's memory dragged through the mud. Years of legal battles. Our family name in the papers. Is that what we want? So what? Aunt Linda's voice rose. We just let him get away with it? No. But there's another way. I told them my plan. I watched some faces soften. Others harden. That's not justice, Uncle Frank said. No, I agreed. It's not. But it might be mercy. And maybe that matters more. The vote wasn't unanimous. But it was enough. I met Marcus at a coffee shop 2 days later. Neutral ground. Public. He looked terrible. Like he hadn't slept in days. Maybe he hadn't. I slid the folder across the table. He opened it. Saw the evidence. His face went pale. I could take this to the police right now, I said. I have enough to put you away for years. You know that, right? He nodded slowly. But I'm not going to. His eyes snapped up. Confused. Suspicious. Here's what's going to happen instead. You're going to return half of Mom's estate. The house sells, the money gets split between me and Rebecca. Half of the life insurance too. The other half you keep. Why would I? Because the alternative is prison. Let me finish. You're going to write a letter to the family. An apology. You're going to admit you were wrong, that you failed her, that you let your problems become more important than her dignity. No legal details. Nothing that could be used in court if someone changes their mind. Just an honest apology. He stared at me. Third, you're going to get help. Real help. Gambling addiction treatment. Therapy. I don't care where or how, but you're going to deal with your problems instead of running from them. And if I do all this? Then we're done. No police. No lawsuit. But also no relationship. You're not my brother anymore. You're just someone I used to know who hurt the person I loved most in the world. He looked down at his hands. They were shaking. One more thing, I added. We're establishing a scholarship fund in Mom's name. For nursing students. People who actually care about taking care of others. A portion of your half goes into that fund. Every year. So something good comes from this nightmare. And if I refuse? Then I walk out of here and go straight to the police station. Your choice. We sat in silence. The coffee shop buzzed around us. Normal people having normal days, no idea that a family was being torn apart at the corner table. I didn't mean for it to go this way, he finally said. His voice was barely audible. At first, I really was just trying to help her. But the debts, they kept growing. And I'd be up at 3 a.m, cleaning up after her, and I'd think about the money sitting in her accounts, and I'd think, why not? Why shouldn't I take it? I'm the one suffering. I'm the one who gave up everything. You made her suffering worse. You isolated her. You controlled her pain medication. I know. His voice cracked. Every night, I'd hear her crying in her room. Calling for you. For Rebecca. For anyone. And I'd sit in the hallway outside her door, and I'd hate myself. But I couldn't stop. The debts were drowning me. And she was dying anyway, so what did a few more months matter? They mattered to her. I know. God, I know. He put his face in his hands. How do I live with this? The same way I live without being there. You wake up every day and you try to be better than you were yesterday. That's all you get. He looked up at me. Tears streamed down his face. Do you think she knew? At the end? Do you think she knew what I was doing? The question hung between us. I thought about the medical records. Mom asking for help. Asking to see family. Being shut down every time. Yeah, I said quietly. I think she knew. He made a sound like something breaking. Buried his face in his hands and sobbed. I stood up. Left the folder on the table. I walked out. 6 months later, I stood in a high school auditorium. The first annual Sarah Thompson Memorial Nursing Scholarship Ceremony. Mom's photo displayed on a banner, her smile bright and kind. The way I wanted to remember her. Rebecca sat beside me. Marcus had sold the house, signed over the money. Sent a letter to the family. It had been brief but honest. I'm sorry. I failed her. I failed all of you. I'm trying to be better. No return address. No phone number. He'd moved somewhere, no one knew where. Started over, supposedly. In treatment, supposedly. I didn't care. I'd meant what I said. He wasn't my brother anymore. The scholarship recipient walked onto the stage. A young woman, 22, putting herself through nursing school while working 2 jobs. She accepted the check with tears in her eyes. Talked about wanting to help people the way she wished someone had helped her grandmother. Does it feel right? Rebecca whispered. Letting him go? No, I admitted. But it feels like what Mom would have wanted. You really think she'd have forgiven him? I thought about it. About the woman who'd raised us alone. Who'd worked double shifts to keep us fed. Who'd always believed in second chances. I think she'd have tried, I said. That's who she was. After the ceremony, my daughter ran up to me. 7 years old, bright-eyed, innocent. She'd been sitting with my wife in the back. "Daddy, was Grandma nice?" I picked her up, held her close. She was. She believed people could be better than their worst moment. Do you believe that? I looked at Mom's photo on the banner. Thought about Marcus, wherever he was. Thought about myself, the guilt I'd carry forever for not being there when she needed me. "I'm trying to," I said. "I'm really trying." That night, I sat on my hotel balcony, opened my laptop. A letter had come through, forwarded from Rebecca. No return address. Just a short note from Marcus. I completed rehab. 6 months clean. Working construction in Montana. Living in a trailer. It's not much, but it's honest. I can't undo what I did. I can't give her back those years. I can't make you forgive me, and I don't expect you to. But I'm trying to become someone who wouldn't do it again. Someone she might not have been ashamed of. That's all I have. That's all I can do. I'm sorry. For everything. I read it 3 times. Then closed the laptop. Forgiveness didn't mean forgetting. It didn't mean reconciliation. Sometimes it just meant letting go of the poison before it killed you too. I thought about Mom's final words to me. Take care of your brother. He's going to need you. Even at the end, knowing what he was doing, she'd been worried about him. That was the kind of person she was. I couldn't be that person. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I could try to honor her by not letting the anger consume me. By building something good from the ashes. By showing my kids that even when family fails you, even when trust is shattered, you can still choose to keep living. Keep loving. Keep trying. Some people might call that weakness. Call it letting him off easy. I called it the hardest thing I'd ever done. My phone buzzed. A text from my wife. "Kids asking when you're coming home. They miss you." I looked out at the city lights. Thought about Mom's grave. About Marcus in his trailer in Montana. About the nursing student who'd accepted the scholarship, who'd go on to care for someone else's mother with the dignity Mom deserved. I texted back. "On my way. Tell them I love them." Then I closed my eyes and said one final thing to the empty air. "I hope you're at peace, Mom. I hope wherever you are, you know I tried. I tried to do what you would have done." The wind picked up. Somewhere in the distance, a church bell rang. And for the first time in 6 months, I felt like I could breathe. If you've ever loved someone who hurt you or hurt someone you loved, you know there's no easy answer. No clean resolution. No moment where everything makes sense. There's only the choice to keep going. To wake up every day and try to be better than you were yesterday. To build something good from the broken pieces. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. If this story touched you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And tell me in the comments, have you ever had to choose between justice and mercy? How did you decide? I read every single comment. This is my Reddit diaries, where real stories remind us we're not alone in our struggles. Until next time, take care of yourself, and take care of each other.